And then, of course, you go up in dosages as you know progress over time.
I'm going to have to reload.
Somebody, we got popcorn cooking in the background. You guys hear that stuff?
Thomas.
It's the NS8 listening. They makes it sound like, I call it popcorn.
Yeah.
Sounds like popcorn's popping.
It's gone now.
No, it's still doing it. It's doing it on my phone.
Yep, I can hear it too.
Yep.
I'm going to call back. I'm going to hang up and call back in. Sometimes it goes away, but I'm going to do what I can to cure it. But I'll talk to you in a few minutes. Bye.
Thomas, I need to ask you a question about the 56.
Okay.
I'm trying to get it out the way so Patrick get rolling, man. I mean.
I know.
Okay, this is Patrick. I'm on the line now.
Right.
Hi, Patrick.
Hello, Patrick.
All right. Okay, I had Tom post a couple documents up there on the group site tonight, okay? One is basically an update for the using let me get it up here. New write-up on the statutes at large, volume 15, section 240 or section 249 or chapter 249, rev 1. Okay, you need to take a look at that. And then also I posted a new substitute W8BN charter example. And then I had another document posted up there with a bunch of words on it, okay? Need to go through those words, okay? You people need to basically go through these and understand what they're saying and then understand what I say on the phone call. Okay? You get a visit from a Social Security inspector, you best know what you're talking about. He's coming there for a reason. Same thing that the Secret Service came and saw me about almost a year and a half ago. They were trying to find out what I knew. We know too damn much now. But you've got to mention that everything is about charter. There was a movie put out this year. It's called Beyond the Mask. Okay? It was this one guy that was working as an assassin for the East India Company. And then he came over here to America and got involved with Benjamin Franklin, and basically they put a stop to the East India Company. That's really what the Declaration of Independence was all about, was to put an end to the charter, all charters in this country. And the East India Company was the biggest charter and mortgager in this country, operating under the King of England. Well, the Social Security system has taken the place of the East India Company, and it's controlled by the Queen of England. So it's just a remake of the East India Company that basically ran out of this country well over 200 years ago. Everything in this country is about a charter. The government, the initial Constitution was a charter. Everything that goes on around the world is by charter. All governments are granted the power by a charter. Now, the government, basically in this country, turned around and started setting up sub-charters in the process. You are not obligated to enter into any charter. We have two vessels in this country that we have set up. We have a BC vessel and we have an SS vessel. We took assets out of our BC vessel and transferred them over onto the SS vessel. Now, everybody badmouths Abraham Lincoln about doing all this bad stuff to the people, putting them into slavery and everything else, because they don't understand one damn document that he even put out. But yet people can sit there and badmouth, and when you hear people bad-mouthing something beyond belief, you best start believing that that is the good guy, and that basically somebody's out here putting a bunch of bullshit out about this person. The Jesuits, okay, they're the men in black in the religious society. They're the good guys. The bad guys are basically the men in white. Black is white. White is black. The mirror image. You're on the other side of the looking glass. Debt is positive. Credits are negative. The other side of the looking glass. We're the vessel owner. We're not the debtor. We own this earth. How can we be the debtor? That's a total fallacy. We own the earth. The earth was given to Adam, and we're a descendant of Adam. So we own the earth. The corporations don't own shit.
Patrick, that reminds me of the scripture inside the Bible: the land is yours and the fullness thereof.
Well, like I said, that whole damn Bible is all about banking. Okay?
That's correct. Thank you, sir.
So you just think about that, and basically, you're okay. Now, as far as the statute at large, Volume 15, 14th Congress, Session 2, Chapter 249, 1868. That they put that in place for a reason. Okay, it's not to expatriate away from the country. It is the American Constitution subchartering owners' Cesser clause. There was no Cesser clause out here before that, because basically the American people, the American citizens, were not into subcontracting or subchartering or chartering. But with the 14th Amendment, that set up the process that they were going to place the people under charters. So they had to have an out for them, and they basically had to have an owner's Cesser clause. C-E-S-S-E-R.
No.
Okay? The definition is in that one document that I had Tom post up there. Okay? And basically what it, bottom line is, it's an order to terminate. When these courts, when these charters come in and do an anticipatory repudiation of our authority or of the charter itself. When they do that, we have every right to terminate that charter right there on the spot and liquidate it. Get rid of the evil witch. Oh, you liquidated her, as Oz said in the movie. That is our expatriation. Now, when you read that Expatriation Act, you'll see it with a different understanding. Any officer of the government that basically restricts, implies, or questions the right of expatriation away from a charter, they can be held accountable for their actions. They're liable. And that includes anticipatory repudiation or repudiation of the contract. You can ask Tom about this from his visit that he had from a Social Security inspector.
Yeah.
That he totally blew, okay? You have to address that you're under a charter. Can you prove charter? Yes. Because everything out here is charter. Your driver's license, your certificate of title to the vehicle. You have chartered that vehicle over to the state. Your house, under a certificate of title, you have chartered it over to the state. The state gives you a charter instrument. The Social Security gave you a charter instrument. The Social Security card. Now, we have two liens. When you get the 98 Foreign Grantor Trust EIN from Philadelphia, you now have your preferred maritime lien and preferred maritime mortgage over your BC for having access a vessel attached to the de jure United States of America Treasury. Okay? All these patriots out here have had that totally wrong about what that BC is all about. That certificate of live birth is really a BC, your birth certificate. It's also your claim, your charter with the Treasury. You are the grantor in the process. That's your American inheritance. We, the people, own this country, not we, the corporations. We took assets out of, when we set up the Social Security, we set up a charter with this foreign organization. And a foreign state is any state outside the state you're living in. That's why you can use the title foreign, because most everything you're dealing with is foreign. The Social Security Administration is operating out of Washington, D.C., and also out of Maryland. Vast majority of people do not live in Maryland. So they're foreign to Maryland. Each state is basically, in this country, is a sovereign unto themselves. So that means each state is foreign to the other states. But yet we stand in a foreign capacity even to the governments within the state. Because when they set up departments of the de jure government, that is now a new foreign state or corporation operating within the state. In this country, you had the Treasury Department. Then they set up a subcharter from the Constitution to establish the Department of the Treasury. You had the State Department. The subcharter is the Department of State. Department of Transportation, Department of this, Department of that. Those are all subcharters from the de jure government, the constitutional chartered government. We have the right to basically terminate any and all foreign contracts, charters, whatever, mortgages with these foreign states. That's what it says. Preamble, rights of the American citizens in foreign states. You have to promptly and finally disavow all foreign allegiances. We will start with what I had down at the bottom there, that we will first go with the Social Security Charter that we have. That's the big one. And all other subcharters have derived their usage from that one. Okay? We will go to the U.S. Treasury Department using the Financial Center as the port of entry, and we will address the commissioner at that port of entry. The Secretary of Treasury has established 2 ports of entry, one in Philadelphia and one in Kansas City. So east of the Mississippi, you go to Philadelphia. West of the Mississippi, you go to Kansas City. Pretty simple. As a next step, if they do not settle it there, then you will go into a U.S. Federal de jure District Maritime Court. The de jure is really an Article 3 court. And you'll go in maritime. You'll bring the charge. You're coming in as the plaintiff, and you bring the charge against the Social Security Administration, and you will issue a habeas corpus, one of the damn habeas corpus, to have them bring that vessel into that court. More than likely, that federal court will seal that case and put a silence on you as the plaintiff not to discuss the results of your win. The third and final resort would be to take your action into an international maritime court, and that court is bound by international treaties. And the Declaration of Independence is one of the international treaties that this maritime court would be capable of hearing. So look these documents over. That's it. You need to update your Form 56. And if you guys can't figure it out, I'm sorry to say, from everything that I've told you and tried to explain on the calls and show you in previous documents, if you can't figure it out from here on out, you're lost cause. Okay? I've given you the word definitions. You make the words fit. You understand, and you be prepared to have an interview with these guys. You can also send in basically a notification into the IRS Inspector General. Who is liable for all taxes? Who is liable for all payments? When we turn around and send these back, and we address these to the Chief Financial Officer of the utility company and basically also to their legal department, that we're coming in as the vessel owner of that account. The account number is the vessel. We own that vessel. They owe us the usage fees for operating that vessel. They have written bonds and everything else using our assets all the way back to the Social Security vessel cargo. We have deposited funds into there. We initially put an initial deposit in there of roughly somewhere in the neighborhood of $640,000 to $1 million, depending on when you did the process. Will determine approximately how much you basically they put into that Social Security vessel in your name. They brought the vast majority of this all about in after 1961. And that was one of the key time frames when they turned around and made the big run on this charter. Up until that point in time, the Social Security charter was only to be operated with the manufacturing companies in the major cities, like Ford Motor Company, Chrysler, GM, you name it. Basically, somebody, Maytag, all of these places that were using citizens that were in the city, okay, not farmers, but basically the city dwellers. They were using them as collateral in the process to basically get cheaper loans so that they could borrow the money and then buy the material to make the product. Now, the same thing happened with, and this is under an SS number. Okay, so this is a Nazi, basically, and the Nazis come out of Germany, and basically that's where the Queen of England basically came out of. Not the de jure one that was in England there before, but basically the German hierarchy got over there into England. So they brought the Nazism over into England and then over into America. Of course, the bankers were all behind the Nazism to begin with. So the Social Security system is a Nazi form system. The IRS and the Social Security Administration work hand in hand. What do you have with the IRS? The SS-4. What do you have with the Social Security Administration? The SS-5. And then with the military, you got the DD-214 operating under a SS number, Selective Service Number. Hopefully you people can start seeing this and start talking this over and building up your understanding of this. You are the owners. Act like an owner. Stop cowing down and being a damn slave to your servant. They're supposed to be working for us. We're not supposed to be working for them. None of these courts have jurisdiction over the living unless you have actually caused physical harm or damage. Do you need a certificate of title on your vehicle? No. Do you owe taxes on a vehicle that you bought? No. You are an American citizen. The American citizens are the owners. The owners do not owe any taxes. The taxes are owed to us. We're the source. All of this is brought out in the movies more times than not. They're hoarding basically the greatest wealth in the world away from the people to try and control the people, to dumb the people down. They don't want the people to be educated and stand up against them, because they will be out of that job. They'll have to go out and try and do something for a change. Something productive instead of destructive. That's the only thing they know, is how to destroy something. That this statute of large, volume 15, section 249, was one of Abraham Lincoln's greatest documents. And also his Secretary of State got killed for getting this approved too. Most people only think that Abraham Lincoln was the only one shot. No. Seward was also shot and killed. Because they were standing up to the bankers.
Did you say Seward was the Secretary of State?
Yes.
Yeah.
Patrick, you talked about the 98 being a preferred maritime lien, but you mentioned there was going to be another one that you didn't expound on.
That is the estate EIN, and that is just a maritime lien against your Social Security vessel, and basically also anybody that has a DD-214 SS vessel, Selective Service vessel.
Okay. Patrick, and I mean, I heard you talk about the 56, man, but I got to holler at you about that because there's been so many 56s posted within the last 3 years.
You just have to look at these now from being a charter. You have to address in several lines. There ain't that many lines on there that you have to correct. Okay? You just have to correct the certain lines down there where it says other. Other what? You're coming in as the vessel owner over this estate that is under charter. you are not the liable party to make any tax payments. You let the IRS know that. All tax bills should be sent to the Social Security Administration or back to the IRS and say, hey, forward this to the proper person, the charterer. I am the vessel owner. This is an obligation of the charterer.
Perhaps you could say owner under maritime rules.
What?
Perhaps you could say owner under maritime rules.
Whatever you want to say.
I got you, Patrick. Thank you. I understand.
It's up to you. What can you defend? That's what you have to think about. Don't go by what I say, because half of you guys can't defend anything that I say. Because in a lot of cases, you don't fully understand what I say, and then you turn around and screw it up. Because you don't take the time to sit and listen to this stuff and write it down. Take notes. Listen to these calls more than once. Sometimes I wonder how half of you guys ever graduated from school. If you ever did. And I probably flunked more times than half you guys out there did. But I just know what's important and what's not important. And this is the most important thing in your life right now. If you want out of this system, and basically that's what this is all about, is coming out and becoming free in the process, and then helping your fellow mankind. There isn't a damn thing you can do about some of this shit out here. So stop worrying about that bullshit and get on with life. If they're going to do chemtrails, take the money away from them so that they can't fly. That's how you shut them down. If they haven't got the fuel to put the plane in the air, then they can't do a chemtrail. You get the word out. You start putting this process into place. And it isn't that hard. Basically, you have to do an update for your Social Security card, affidavit, that one that I posted up there before. You do an update on it. You do an update on your Form 56. And then your Form 56s over your estate EIN and your foreign grantor trust EIN. You do the W-8BEN. Then you turn around and you do a cover letter addressed to the Port of Entry Commissioner at Philadelphia or at Kansas City, coming in and doing a Cesser against your charter, your Social Security vessel charter, or your Selective Service vessel charter. Per this Volume 15, Session 2, Chapter 249, Expatriation away from a foreign charter. Like I said, this is the East India Company all over again in this process. It was just resurrected under a different name. And that's what basically the whole Declaration of Independence was about, was to get rid of the East India Company and the charters in this country. The foreign charters. Even though the people turned around and set up another charter, their own charter with the government, they were supposed to control the government. The government was never there to control the people. Okay, I'm done rambling. Now, any valid questions or anything?
You talked about Tom receiving a visit. What should he have said that he didn't say? Or what could he have said that wasn't said by this inspector?
Ask Tom what he should have said.
And is Tom in jail? Because if he's still out, he must have said something right, for real.
I'm here.
Well, Tom, what was the inspection? What was the visit like? What did they want to know?
Actually, the visit was pleasant. They didn't try to give me any grief, but when they asked about the documents, I spoke of them in terms of what I was thinking at the time. And what I should have talked about was what Patrick had talked about the night before, this issue of it being a charter.
Okay.
And Patrick said what they did by saying, "Oh, we don't do this kind of stuff. We're not a bank. You'll never get anywhere with us. You'll need to go to the Treasury about this. Maybe we don't know where to go though." And Patrick said what they actually did was try to make anticipatory revocation of the repudiation of the charter, and that actually is in a way a good thing, because that means that they basically become personally liable. Is that correctly, Patrick?
Yeah. They did a anticipatory repudiation. And see, that's what all the courts do. You just have to stand up to the court and say, "Oh, I understand that basically you're trying to do an anticipatory repudiation of my claim, of my charter. Is that right, Judge?"
Huh.
That judge will run for the damn hills, because now you can turn around and sue that shithead. The prosecuting attorney is the one that they really rely upon to try and repudiate anything.
So lay it on them.
Yeah. That's what the judges try and do. They try and turn it over to the prosecuting attorney, because he is there, and basically you're in there, but you have to come in as the vessel owner into that court. You have to make sure that that court is operating in maritime law, not equity, not common law, or anything like that. The only time you would ever use common law is maritime common law, and that's if you got into that international maritime court. You read these documents, and basically you might start seeing what I'm talking about.
I'm going to check them out. I want to read them. But thanks, Tom. It's clear.
You're welcome.
Yeah, you get a tax bill, you turn around, and you send it right back to that tax authority and say, hey, this really belongs to the charter. I'm the vessel owner. The vessel owner don't owe the taxes. I am not the guarantor. The charter has the guarantor under his offshore account. So therefore, the charter is the liable party all the way around.
Would it be better sent to Kansas City?
No.
And so where you are.
You send it back to the IRS. They're in bed with the charter. The IRS is just a branch of the charter. All of these tax forms are basically banking forms, charter banking forms.
Well, Patrick, when did the charter piece come into play? Because this is like the first time I'm hearing you say this. So when did it, in the process that we've been doing over the last 3 to 4 weeks, when did the charter piece come into play? And how relevant? Because it sounds like this is the relevant piece to everything. If based
is
on
under charter, and basically it was the last two calls that I've been talking about. Charters on it.
Right.
Now, I was looking at that several years back, but I didn't see how it all pulled together at that point in time. Because at that point in time, we did not have our individual bankers' EIN. We did not have our private bank established. And we didn't get our private bank established until basically we set up our individual bankers' EIN.
right.
Then we could bring our estate and our foreign grantor trust accounts, our vessels, under our private bank. Then I realized that we had chartered this out. I talked about before about being the leaseor and the leasee in the process. Well, essentially that's the same thing. Also mortgagee and mortgagor. We're the mortgagor. They are the mortgagee. The mortgagee is the one who has to pay the bill. But they try and turn the tables on us and make us the liable party. Stop playing their game. Start standing up as the owner. Then you'll start getting some results. They cannot force you into anything in this country. Period. Read the Constitution. That's the only thing that basically has any relevance. And basically the first 10 Bills of Rights address that we're not under their control. We have immense powers and rights. We just cannot use and abuse them in the process, causing harm in any way out here.
So one more question. Has there been anyone on this line right now or outside of this line that you know of that has received remedy utilizing this statutes at large, volume 15, section 249?
Not previously.
What do you mean, not previously? Previously to you expressing it to us, you mean?
Because I just updated this thing today.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Before, it never addressed that this was being a charter and that this was a Cesser clause that was added to the Constitution to have our means of expatriating away from any charter.
So you make a claim under the Cesser clause.
Yes. Study it. Go into the internet. Look up what Cesser clause says. I'm putting the definitions in the Word document that I posted up there. It's got about 5 pages of Word definitions.
Yep.
Read those.
Yeah, I saw that.
Most all of those came out of Ballantyne's except for Cesser, which I got off of 5 different dictionaries on the internet. Okay? Or 3 dictionaries off the internet. But you can go in and search the internet about Cesser clause. Okay? It's in several different documents. It's in that one document there that's about the rights of ship owners that I had Tom post up a week ago.
Right.
You need to read and understand that document. Take that document, highlight everything that says ship owner, highlight everything that says charterer, highlight everything that has CESSER in it. Then start putting some titles to those things, like the charter is the Social Security vessel or the Social Security Administration. You are the vessel owner. Look at the statutes at large, or look at Title 46, Chapter 313. It talks about the maritime liens in there. Maritime mortgage, preferred maritime mortgage. A charter is, in a sense, also a mortgaging instrument.
So when you say ship owner, are you referring to the certificate of live birth? I mean,
you are basically an American vessel owner, financial vessel owner.
Financial vessel, okay.
Okay? You are one of the many vessel owners of that American Treasury with your birth certificate. Then you set up a sub-vessel that you chartered out to the Social Security Administration, took some of your cargo off of your American BC vessel and put it onto your SS vessel.
I think the light just went on.
Hopefully someday it does. I talk till I'm blue in the face out here.
So how do we transfer those vessels to the 98?
You transfer them to your private bank. You do that by bringing that vessel, that SS vessel, back into port by going to Philadelphia or Kansas City, the port of entry. You have to bring it out of Puerto Rico, which is going to be the port of departure, bring it into the port of entry, and then have it given over to the port of Lebanon. That's your back pocket. Look up the definitions of what these ports mean.
I'm making notes as quick as I can.
What?
I'm making notes as quick as I can.
Now, you should be just listening right now and then taking notes, basically, when you listen to the recording. Or get somebody to convert the recording into a bunch of notes. I used to have somebody do that for me before. Lynn out in Colorado, she's now in Montana, but she used to transcribe all of my phone calls.
I think a decent word processor could do that.
No, we need to get Dragon Naturally Speaking running. I'm working on that, so we can transcribe the calls.
I edit all the recordings down to be able to fit on a single audio CD.
You squeeze them some more. It's about 2 gigabytes download. There's
basically, if you do it with an MP3, basically, and you need to have it in MP3 format if you're going to listen to it on a CD player like in your automobile, okay?
That's what I do.
It'll only take 80 minutes on a CD, okay? So most these individual phone calls are less than 80 minutes.
Yeah, you could get all of the calls on one DVD.
I was just going to say that, Tom. You sure can.
Yeah, but you can't listen to it in your car.
Right.
I mean, if you got a DVD
unless you get an updated DVD player in your car.
Or you have an MP3 player and you have them on the DVD and download them one at a time.
Yeah, if you get that new updated DVD player in your limo, but you can sit there in the back seat and have your limo driver driving you around, and then you just sit there and listen to them all. I don't know why you want to go anywhere, but basically that's your prerogative. You should have it all understood by the time you get to that point.
Yep.
So why in the hell you listen to this shit again?
I just love your voice.
I think you'd be tired of listening to this shithead after a while.
Nope.
Patrick, can I ask you a question, man? But you got to promise not to get fired up, man, because it's probably gonna fire you up.
Go ahead.
The question I want to ask is concerning the using of the UCC1 form in terms of making another contract to protect myself after I do this process. Is that possible? Or is that once again shut the fuck up and move the fuck on or type situation?
No, you don't need to do anything like that. You shut down the Social Security account. The state can't charge you for anything unless you've caused physical harm or damage.
Okay, so check it out. So I'm riding down the road in my everything lovely like it's supposed to be, like we talked about in the past, and I show my for lack of a better word, my estoppel to
you will get something from the Treasury when you get out of this system.
Okay, all right, I got you, Patrick.
Okay, just wait and basically demand it from them, your protections, from the State Department. Not from the Department of the State, but from the State Department. Now when you shut everything down, you're no longer under a charter. Now you are totally a free American citizen. And basically now you can walk into just about any place you want to in the government. You control them now.
Yeah.
They want money. You're the one that's got the money. Money talks. Shit stinks.
Yeah.
And they're full of shit.
Doubt about that.
Thank you, Patrick. Thanks.
Okay. Yeah, just don't worry about things that you basically do not have control over yet, okay? You need to get certain things that you have capability to control and shut down. Get those done, and then you will see that a new light will start coming on, and you'll start moving forward. Take baby steps.
When I first heard about ISIS in Afghanistan, I was shocked. I was thinking, why? They're completely different than the Taliban. They wrote after.
Okay, any other questions?
Greetings, Patrick. I'm new to this. I spoke to you yesterday on the phone for about an hour. This is Mickey from Operating in Commerce. So I just wanted to let you know that I'm taking heed to your advice that you gave me yesterday, and I'm actually doing the necessary research. And thank you for devoting your time and your energy.
You're welcome. Okay, just get the word out to those people down there on your radio show and everything about this, and try and get these documents over to them too. This isn't that hard, okay? It's taken us a long time to get to this point, but basically I've had a lot of this stuff, like Title 46 and this Expatriation Act out here for several years. We just didn't know how to properly utilize it, and we never got any additional support from anybody else out here in the endeavor. I had my foreign grantor trust EIN and my estate EIN for almost 5 years, but we didn't know how to operate them, primarily because we did not have an individual banker's EIN, which we just came across that back here in April of this year.
Individual banker's EIN. Okay, I'm going to have to research that then. I didn't even know that even existed.
That's in the last photo. Last two photos and the last few calls are what's most important.
Okay, that's where I'm going to start at then. Thank you, Thomas.
Okay. Anybody else?
Patrick, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. With the way you're talking about the charters now, would the same process with the cars that you were talking about in the recent calls still apply, or would that be different? It's how to handle like the title and the registrations and what have you.
Yeah, you can terminate those certificates of title with the state because they're just chartering instruments. Mm-hmm. You can basically, and per this, see that state that you have the charter with. Mm-hmm. That is not the de jure state that basically the Constitution of the state set up.
Right.
Okay? That is a de facto government. So that is a foreign state government.
Right.
Okay? So you have every right to expatriate or terminate the charter with that foreign state.
Okay.
So they can't impound your car.
Right.
No. Okay? And if they do, then you take them right to court in maritime action. You addressed that this was, that you are the vessel owner and that they're the charterer, and that if they anybody owes anything for that vehicle, it's the charterer. Now, read and understand what it says about moral law. Okay?
About what law? What
moral.
law?
Moral law.
Moral. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay? You go speeding down the highway. They bring you into court. They try and get you out of moral law into basically now a criminal law scenario, a code of law.
Mm-hmm.
Under moral law, you do not have to pay that traffic fine.
Right.
It's only up to you morally. Is it morally right that I should be paying this traffic ticket? No. That's a moral issue. But they turn around and they try and get you to plead either guilty or not guilty. But you do not have to. In moral law. I think I put that in those word definitions there.
Yes.
Trying to address that there is a big difference in the process. Everybody thinks that they're morally bound to pay that damn stinking traffic ticket. Did you harm anybody? No. Can you go 110 miles down the road safely? Yes. Does a Walmart security guard have any right to pull you over? No. They're only there for emergencies. That's why they all have emergency flashers on their vehicles. Those are only emergency vehicles. For somebody that has caused harm or damage. An emergency. They're not there for Walmart security guys to go pulling you off the road. Just because they don't like the color of your car. So you start looking at these things from the real aspect of what's really going on. And then you might have your eyes start opening up a little further and a little further and a little further.
Patrick?
Yes.
How do we find the U.S. Federal de jure District Maritime Court by just simply going to the district court and demanding that it be a de jure maritime court?
It's an Article 3 court. A constitutional court. Yeah, but it's in maritime. It don't make any difference. It's going to be in maritime.
Okay.
If it's an Article 3 court.
How do we find?
I should have said Article 3 instead of de jure. Okay.
Okay.
I figured people might know that one by now.
Yeah, I knew it would be an Article 3, but how do we find them?
They are there all over the place. That chief judge in that federal district court building is an Article 3 judge.
Okay. Got it.
They've got to be. You just have to get them to put the right hat on. They're sitting there waiting for us.
That's right. They wear two hats, right, Patrick?
Several.
In a lot of cases, yes. In most cases, the people get them to put the wrong hat on.
excuse me, Patrick, but I think that most people are confused that there is both sides to the entity. You have a head and tails to any coin. Same thing with the private and the public. So when you submit it into the private, they have to keep it private. That's why most banking private duties is done after the bank is closed. They do the special orders or special delivery.
No, you're just coming in maritime. None of this private and public scenarios. Because you've got to go in against the charter. And basically they're operating in the public. You're bringing, and the person that is bringing the charge is going to be your individual banker. Okay? He's operating for your private bank, yes. But he's coming into this court action in the public realm, but it's in maritime action, in maritime law, not in public or private law, any of that stuff. It's maritime law. And you come in as the plaintiff against the Social Security Administration if need be, or against the credit card, or whoever. If they do not comply with your order back to them to set off the item within the proper time frame, then you turn around and you present this to the charter. You turn around and also let the Social Security Inspector General know that basically that charter, that subcharter, has committed fraud against you as the owner. You act like the owner, and basically you put your claim in, just like Harold and I did when we went to the Social Security Inspector General. We acted like the owner because we were the owner. And basically when we claimed fraud, they turned around and immediately corrected the situation. That's why that Inspector General came to see Tom. He wanted to know whether Tom was going to act like the vessel owner or basically someone that didn't know anything. And Tom showed him his true colors, that he didn't know anything.
Didn't know enough.
Didn't you, Tom?
I didn't know enough at that point.
Yeah. And see, I tried to address this thing. I've been down this road before with the Secret Service, with the U.S. Marshals, with the postal inspectors. But I stood my ground in most cases, acting like I was an owner, and basically they backed the hell away from me.
Well, I took that stance that I was the owner, but that wasn't getting anywhere, and I didn't have the other information to back it up.
Yeah.
Tom, you're referring to the statute's information, the statute's at large?
No, he didn't have that at the time.
No.
I just posted this today.
Gotcha.
Reposted this.
No, this was about the fact that I'm the ship owner and that they're the charter party, and they're not carrying out their duties.
And that we have vessel preferred maritime and maritime vessel liens over the chartered cargo.
Right.
The vessel.
I didn't get into that part of it.
Yeah. See, that's what I said the last call there. Before that, I was talking about the liens. Basically, these estate EIN and the foreign grantor trust EIN are lien documents.
Right.
They are exemption numbers. Well, if they're exemption numbers, that is our lien exemption.
Right. I hadn't gone over the call because it was just the night before, and they hit me the first thing in the morning, so I wasn't ready.
You'll get it next time, Tom, because you've got all of it.
Well,
it's just putting it all together.
Well, no, I'm going to go back at them as Patrick recommends.
Yeah.
Approach them and say that they tried doing in anticipatory repudiation of the
repudiation.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Now you don't let up on them. You got a contract with them. Basically, they gave you a card. You can contact them back anytime.
Right.
It's an open-ended contract.
Right.
If they didn't want to contract with you again, they wouldn't have given you the card.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah, see? You don't think of these things. Yeah, if they give you a card, basically that's an open-ended contract to contact them again. You're operating in commerce. It's a two-way process. So if they give you a card that has the phone number, they're saying you can call me anytime. That's an open contract. The more you study this stuff, the more this stuff will start coming to a head, and you'll start seeing this stuff outright.
Right.
And that's why I said before, in a lot of cases, people need to go in and sit in a court scenario. Just go in the traffic court during the week. You don't have to have a ticket. Just go there and sit in the background. Watch everything that goes on. Hell, I used to go out to Vegas and basically just sit there and play blackjack, $5 a hand. I didn't care whether I won, lost, or anything. I was having more fun just watching everything that was going on around me. I was learning more. I mean, it's like going to a damn play, and you have to pay $100 for the damn ticket. You're sitting there and watching all the players around you. See how they operate. See what happens to the ones that really get out of control. Then you can start seeing how you need to operate.
Patrick, once someone's considered out, and you mentioned the Treasury will give you some kind of card or whatever. But if they give you a card, then in effect, are you not recontracting with them, even though it's in a different capacity?
No. Basically, it's just a debit card without being charged any interest. You'll have to pay banking processing fees, okay? But it won't be an interest-bearing debit card.
Yes, but you'll still be dancing with the,
No, you're not.
No?
See,
okay.
That's what you don't understand.
Right.
This Federal Reserve dollars is just another bartering instrument.
Okay.
You're taking one form of substance, converting it into a different bartering instrument, and then you take those Federal Reserve dollars as a bartering instrument, and you barter with the grocery store and convert them into food.
Okay. Yeah, you
See,
did
people don't understand barter. Period. They think they've got to have gold and silver, and that's the only lawful money out here. That's total bullshit. Whatever is basically placed in circulation. And see, when you get out of this, and basically that goes onto that debit card, that is de jure money. That is real substance.
Okay.
Okay? I recommend you try and convert as much as that to some other substance that can probably be utilized in a different capacity as quick as possible, because they have so many other Federal Reserve dollars out there, and if they dump all the debt Federal Reserve dollars, your Federal Reserve dollars that are asset-backed are going to look just like those debt Federal Reserve dollars that are out there, and basically nobody's going to want them.
Right.
Okay? So even though yours is real substance, Federal Reserve dollars, you're going to be harmed unless you convert it into coffee or something like that you can do a further bartering with. But you can't eat gold and silver, so put that out of your mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to use commodities.
Something that is useful. Just have to think with common sense. That's all you have to do. Okay? That's what this whole process is all about, is common sense. Benjamin Franklin tried to explain that to people too. Okay. Any other questions, comments?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, wait a minute. I was getting unmuted. This is Steve. If we want to go get a copy of a Social Security card just for our own identification stuff, there's nothing wrong with that, even though we have the estate EIN and all that. We're not signing back up for it, right?
Well, you should have a copy of your Social Security card right now, okay?
Yeah, I don't
have the hard copy, okay? I sent that in before, but I do have a scanned copy, and that's what I'm going to utilize when I go to these guys about this charter.
Mm-hmm. Okay. There's nothing wrong.
I've got
with
other
it.
substantiating documentation that basically even the initial card that came with the pamphlet that came with the card, saying that basically I am the owner of that account.
Right.
That means I own that vessel.
Right, and not
so
to
if
be
I'm
used
the owner of the vessel, what the hell is the Social Security Administration? They have to be a charterer.
Right. Exactly.
But
so I don't see anything wrong with getting a card and having it for our own proof that we're the owners of the vessel.
If you haven't got a scanned copy,
right?
Okay.
I don't.
If you've got a scanned copy, you can make an affidavit of that and say that this is a valid copy of what I had previously, that I'd submitted it in somewhere.
Right, but I probably haven't had it since
5 days. 5 days. You get this in Kansas City, and you should be out of the system.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
How long is it going to take you to get another Social Security card?
More than that.
Yes.
Yeah, just get it. Don't disregard that.
A month, I mean.
Right. Disregard it and go ahead and just get out. Push the ejection button. Okay, that's what I was asking.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's what I said. Use common sense. Anybody else that doesn't have common sense?
Yeah, I don't have common sense, Patrick.
Okay.
Because you're talking about right now the charter for the SS. And I'm sure you finna tell me we're gonna do the BC at a different time. Is that what you about to tell me?
When you get out of the damn Social Security, you're going to have more damn funds than you know what to do with. Okay?
Right.
You can use the BC later on, okay? Okay, anybody else? And when you do the BC, you're only going to be going to Philadelphia.
Right.
Okay? That's where that number came from. That's where the Treasury accessing port is for that. It's already located here on mainland United States of America.
Right.
Okay.
Patrick, you're saying when you do the BC, I may know what you're speaking of, but I'm not clear on what you're speaking about. When you do the BC, the birth certificate.
You're putting a claim in because that birth certificate, that document, under state seal and the Bureau of Vital Statistics seal, it says bank note. You can determine how much that bank note is valued at and put a claim in against the Treasury.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
But that's the Treasury in Philadelphia.
Yes. Okay. Anybody else?
The approximate time that it actually takes before you're actually completed the process once everything has been filed, would you say is about 2 weeks?
Well, basically, since this week's going to have Thanksgiving on it, yeah, probably 2 weeks.
And Patrick, if somebody,
okay.
if
don't forget that you don't count weekends.
Go ahead.
If you get a visit from someone and they asking you and you get bumbled up and you don't know what to say, you don't remember all the laws and statutes, let's tell them you want to get out the system. I want out the system. That's what I want. That's what I'm trying to do this for. I'm trying to get out.
Basically, you print out a couple papers. You print out this document that I did with the Rev 1 for the statute at large, basically 249, that talks about this Cesser clause. Have them read it.
Right.
Good.
Okay? You can give them several pieces of paper. Say, here, this is what I'm basing my items on. Say, basically, I'm a student of Patrick, and basically, if you want any more information, go talk to him. I'll tell him what the shit's going on.
Just do like you do in court. Hand them the paperwork and say, I stand on my paperwork.
Yeah.
But they already had the paperwork before they come see you anyway.
Yeah.
Do you think
now, in a lot of cases, they have false paperwork, okay? They have deceptive paperwork that they're trying to operate off of.
Right.
Because they're trying to entrap you, basically.
Yeah.
I think he got it.
Okay.
Patrick, would you suggest or rather not to go locally to your local Social Security office, to whoever's in charge there, and or the IRS office locally, or not? Just do all paperwork, or does it matter?
You get an IRS bill, I'd send it back to where they say to send that IRS bill to. You tell them that basically you are the vessel owner and that basically they have to contact the Social Security Administration, who is the charterer.
On the letter
you
that
put
you
a cover letter with it and address it back to them. Say, I am not the liable party to pay any goddamn taxes. And you can even use a few swear words in there. Let them know that you're getting pissed at them sending you shit that basically shouldn't have come to you to begin with.
You put your estate EIN on there as proof?
You can say that this is my lien over that vessel. Yes. I have a lien on this vessel, and basically the charterer is the one who is the liable party.
Yep.
The state of Iowa, the Department of Transportation, they're the liable party to pay all items for a driver's license or whatever. Yeah, they gave you a license to break the law. Well, shit. Then they better pay up because they're the ones that said I could break the law.
Yeah, we
because
gave
that's all
credit.
a license is a document saying you can break the law, but it's going to cost you something.
Well, I've got a friend who has a suspended license and got pulled over. And to have him listen to this.
Yeah. You terminate that license. You don't need it. You're not a driver. Like I said on the call the other night, okay? I'm out here in rural farm country, okay? The first vehicle that I drove was a tractor at the age of 10 years old. Did I have a driver's license? No, because I wasn't a driver. Did the tractor have a license? No. Was I on a public road? Yes. So, was I breaking the law? No. Because I was not operating for hire or for profit in the scenario. I didn't need a license. Only someone that is operating for hire or profit needs a license. Only a vehicle that is operating on the highway, on the public road system, that is operating for hire or for profit needs to have a license to be on that road. They don't license tractors. They don't license the horses that pull the buggies for the damn Amish. They don't license the buggy either. Look at what's going on around you, people. Wake up. All this licensing shit is just another form of chartering.
What do we do when we get pulled over? Do we have our papers?
Listen to some of the recordings of other people that have been pulled over and basically never had a driver's license, don't have insurance, basically don't have any tags on the cars. What does the cop say? Have a good day. Go on your way. Because you're not operating for hire. You've never licensed that car under their system. The state cannot claim that you're operating one of their vehicles. I don't have a license. I've never licensed this brand new car that I just bought. Okay? So the state has no claim over this vehicle.
What kind of plates? Do you have plates?
I put my own private plates on there, basically just saying that basically this is private property.
Yeah, I heard Scott saying to put like bonded or something like that on there.
No, you don't use bond in any process. Bond is basically a slave system.
Or indemnified or something like.
You don't have to go that far either, okay?
Mine just says for
all
an
you have to do is say private property or private.
Not for hire.
Yeah, and then have not for hire.
Just
and then
be
you're operating under the codes or the laws of Christ.
And that's fine, Patrick, except yours is for a new car that was never licensed, titled, what have you. What about for the...
You get out of the system and you can go and buy 100 new cars, okay?
Yes, but I'm saying
okay.
in the meantime, for people that...
In the meantime, you play their game, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You can go to your state capital where your title is held and demand that the title be returned to you.
Wait. I'm giving you basically a quick turnaround to get the fuck out of the system. You want to go to the state capitol and argue about all this shit? Basically, when you get out of the system, take the fucking car and dump it on the damn Capitol lawn. You don't need it. God
Right on,
damn
Pat.
it, people.
Right on.
Patrick, I missed your calls where you got this new car. Did you just get it recently?
Over
I
the
did
summer.
it about 4 months ago, 4 months ago.
Yeah, I missed this. That's great. Good for you.
What is it, a Cadillac or?
No, it's a Fusion.
Nice.
Get something that basically doesn't stand out, okay? I'm not out here to be noticed, okay? I'm going to be stealth in a lot of this process. I don't need some big fancy thing until basically I get to the point to where I will flaunt my shit. But otherwise, I'm going to stay stealth so that basically I am not bringing them down upon me in any false manner. Not to say that they shouldn't already be down on me, basically for all the shit that I'm talking on the damn airways and everything.
Yeah.
And that you've given them in person.
But when I talk this way, basically, and they hear this, basically, they're going to be waking up too.
I did tell that to the IG inspector that he could be doing this for himself.
Did he snap out of his?
No, they're not going to snap out of it that quick, okay? So don't even ask that type of question, okay? You know the answer before you even ask it. Please, people, think before you speak. Okay, I'm done. I'll see you guys down the road. Okay, good night.
Thank you, Patrick.
I didn't know, Chief.
Good night.